Hi Leo, this is Angel Aura Divination, and I'm here to give the sign of Leo their July 2021 General Tarot and Oracle reading. I already have all the cards pulled out for the reading, so I'm just going to get into them. But before I do that, I would ask you if you could please like this video, subscribe to my channel for content just like this and other readings as well. And let me know in the comments if this reading resonated for you. I'm utilizing the Energy Oracle cards. I'm also using the Wheel of the Year Tarot and the Herbal Tarot to get out your tarot message to explain some of these energies that we're talking about with the Oracle. So the first card that we have for you is Healer of the Ages. This is a 51, reducing to the resonance of 6. This card is talking a lot about balance. I think it's going to be a balanced energy for you moving into the month of July, where you are going to be focused on healing yourself and also healing other people. You might be someone who takes care of others or be a nurturer in your own energy, but at the same time, you're also being called to heal some of your own wounds and kind of take care of yourself as well. My guides are saying with the Healer of the Ages, that saying that they have when you get into the airplanes, put on your own oxygen mask before you help others. It's that kind of thing with the Healer of the Ages. So as much as you might want to be somebody's spiritual guru, you might want to be somebody's mentor, you might want to be somebody's helper, at the same time, you really need to focus on loving yourself just as much as you love others. This is a very much heart-centered energy. They also wanted me to focus on the Healer of the Ages as saying that you might be healing other people right now, Leo, in the areas of the arts or in creativity, where you are creating art for other people or you're going after your passions when it comes to your artistry. And this will be affecting other people because it's going to inspire them to do the same thing. With the Healer of the Ages, you know, it's also kind of saying that this is going to be a very spiritual energy for you, even if it's not necessarily something that you're doing within spirituality. For some of you, you might work in artistry or you might work in like the healthcare field as well, but it's basically saying it doesn't matter. Ultimately, whatever it is that you're going to be doing for the month of July is going to be geared towards healing yourself and also healing others. So the first Wheel of the Year tarot card that we got out, which is what the main message was going to be from the tarot, was going to be the Wheel of the Year, and then I used the Herbal Tarot to further clarify the message. We had the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands energy was basically saying to me that you're going to be trying to achieve certain goals that are going to be somewhat out of your reach at this time for the month of July, and that ultimately you're going to be carrying a lot of burdens with you. You have a lot of lofty goals, and ultimately it's going to be difficult for you to really go after what it is that you want right now in this energy of the Ten of Wands, especially if you don't heal yourself. But even if you do, that's only going to lessen the burden so much for you in the month of July. The next two cards that we had to explain that from the Herbal Tarot was the King of Wands and the Ten of Swords. So the Ten of Swords with the Ten of Wands does kind of clarify, though, that there is an ending to something in your life. And really, with the Ten of Swords being here as clarification to the Ten of Wands, you're not going to be thinking so much about what's burdening you because you're going to be wanting to power through it. With the King of Wands here, you're saying to yourself here, I want to manifest an outcome and I don't care about the mental aspect of it. I see you meditating through it. It's kind of like that energy of fasting where you really take on the tests that the universe gives you at this time and you put it in the back of your mind. You don't pay attention to it because you know that the goal beyond the mental aspect of it is going to be greater for you. That's just the first thing that we have with the Healer of the Ages. The second card that we got from the Wheel of the Year was the Tower. And the Tower was further explained by the Moon from the Herbal Tarot. So there's going to be a lot of hidden changes, things changing under the surface. The Moon would talk about things happening kind of under the surface, under the radar, they're saying to me, where it's kind of like things are going to be changing, but it's not going to be super abrupt with the Tower energy, especially because it's explained by the Moon. You might be dealing with people around you right now who are very emotional, or tensions might be very high, especially in the workplace, because you're going to be trying really hard to maintain some kind of decorum, or the people around you are going to be trying to maintain some kind of decorum, but on the inside they're going to be struggling with the changes outside of them, the changes that are happening to them due to their own karma. So keep that in mind for the month of July, that you really need to pay attention to how other people are responding to certain things, because you could either help these individuals with this healing energy that you're in, especially since it's not necessarily happening to you. The moon and the tower are both Scorpio and Cancer energies, but because you're coming out as somebody who's willing to power through a lot of situations, and the people you're dealing with are going to be dealing with a lot of changes in their life, it's going to be kind of they're saying it's going to be intense, because you're going to be pushing through a lot of your problems, and a lot of people are not going to be open to dealing with the changes that you are willing to deal with in your own life, and it's going to be triggering for them. So keep that in mind. The next two cards out that we have, from the Wheel of the Year we had Judgment, and from the Herbal Tarot to explain the Judgment card we have the Three of Cups. Now, in the traditional tarot, Judgment does speak about a resurrection. It speaks about the days of judgment when, you know, basically we all ascend up into heaven as far as the Christian philosophies go. But it also speaks about a resurrection of relationships, or just a resurrection overall. I think towards the middle of July, for you, especially as you go on this healing journey, a lot of people might be wanting to spend time with you. This could also possibly mean, especially because it's Judgment and the Three of Cups, a resurrection of a prior relationship, a previous relationship, somebody that you, and it could even be friendships. So maybe if you even had friendships or low-level relationships, low-commitment relationships that you've cut out in the past, they might be coming back around towards you towards the middle of July, I think. Because it didn't seem like this was a very, very close energy to the energy that you're in when you're actually starting this healing journey with the Healer of the Ages. The next card that I had out from the Wheel of the Year Tarot was the High Priestess, and it was explained by the Chariot from the Herbal Tarot. I think ultimately that there's going to be a lot of learning here. You are going to be doing a lot of learning, a lot of teaching possibly too. My guides are saying it's teaching as well, and I think that's what the Chariot means, is that you're going to be learning a lot of information or doing a lot of spiritual work, and then you're going to be sharing it with others as well. Or that might be what your calling is at this time, and you're really moving into that light worker energy with the Healer of the Ages. And then the final cards that I had from the Wheel of the Year, we had the Star. From the Herbal, we had the Ten of Wands. Now, this is double confirmation for the Ten of Wands. And I think ultimately that this is just saying that the things that you want, there are burdens associated with the goals that you're trying to go after at this time. And you must be willing to actually deal with those burdens if you want to get where you want to go. That doesn't mean that you cannot call on higher guidance. It's actually a call for you to call on higher guidance, where you actually send out those prayers, you put in those petitions, you make the offerings if that's something that you do, you say the prayers specifically for those of you who don't do those other things, you make them, you put intention behind the manifestations, you put intention behind the actions that you do for the month of July, because you have this higher goal. And the Star would represent really calling upon that divine feminine creative energy of the universe to really pull in the goal that you have, and also still be able to deal with the more mundane aspects of life that are still just as difficult as when you didn't have this higher goal that you were chasing, Leo. So overall, I think that this healing energy for you with the Healer of the Ages, there's going to be a lot of tension around you kind of ascending beyond certain people around you, but that's also going to be pulling people into you as well. It kind of creates a vacuum, but it's also kind of shifting you energetically as you heal yourself, and you also become able to heal other people. Certain people are going to be triggered by that and start turning the other direction. People might be walking out of your life during this month or during this time period, whenever this resonates for you. And then after that period, I think there are going to be people that are going to be coming into your energy, and these are going to be the individuals who would be that soul family in the 3D, where they're going to be able to listen to you and communicate with you about your spirituality and help you bring in the manifestations that you've been desiring this whole time. The next energy oracle card that we have is the Happy Family. Now, this is a 4. 4 is all about divine alignment. 4 is all about the 4 elements and the balance. It's also about grounding. So you're going to be feeling very grounded, especially if you are desiring a happy family, or if that's something that you're already in or moving towards. For those of you who are in a family situation, or for those of you who are in a very happy home environment specifically, I think that this is going to be developing deeper, where this happiness and this groundedness, because of the love you share with these people. This is very much 4 of Wands and 10 of Cups energy, where you're just very happy, you're very abundant in your emotions, you're very comfortable, you're very grounded because you have a stable home life. Basically, if you're desiring a nuclear family and you're not already in a situation like that, this could be what you're manifesting at this time. And ultimately, this card being here is kind of saying that that's going to come for you in time. The first card that we have from the Wheel of the Year Tarot for the happy family is the Moon. So there are hidden objectives, or this might even be a hidden desire, my guides are saying, for you, where you're not necessarily telling everyone this is what you're manifesting, and you don't even have to tell me, and that's fine. But you still need to work towards it, even if you work towards it in the dark. Even if you work towards whatever it is that you're working towards in silence, whether that's grounding, a happy family, or even just a happy home, a happy environment, because not all of us are looking for that kind of situation, and that's fine. We have the 4 of Cups to explain the Moon from the Herbal Tarot, and to me, really, this is kind of saying, well, first, they're saying that it's partially that you're also you've been rejecting things that do not align with the desire that you have to have this happy family situation. And that's reasonable. But at the same time, that comes from a place of, it's not that it comes from a place of lack, but it's that you don't want to come from a place of lack. So as much as you are open to rejecting things that do not resonate with your general desires for the month of July, I think that you still need to be at least somewhat discerning, meaning that sometimes it's good to question yourself or check yourself before you just say no to opportunities in your life. The next card that we had out, and I really took this as you, Leo, we had the Queen of Cups. A very nurturing, intuitive, spiritual individual. Somebody who is very emotional, very giving, very sharing. Somebody who does want to help others heal through their negative emotions as well, and really be able to process the situations that they're in. Now, when I asked for clarification on the Queen of Cups, I only got 2 cards. We have the 4 of Swords and Pan. And Pan is the devil in the Herbal Tarot. The 4 of Swords kind of tells me that you're kind of resting right now to kind of heal yourself, possibly from overuse of the intuition, they're saying, but also possibly from situations where you just feel exhausted, or the burdens that you've had. You start to realize you are feeling tired from all the work that you're putting into towards the goals that you have. And that's fine, but you also need to realize that there is a negative connection with the energetic output that you're dealing with Pan here as a representation of the devil. That although you do have this desire for abundance and longevity and creation and creativity, Pan is basically here to say that some of this is you chasing something almost in the same energy as if it was something that you lusted after, where you are chasing it, but you don't actually know what it is. You don't have a genuine relationship to the energies that you're chasing. You just have an idea, And the reason I say lust specifically is because it's that energy of like, I have an idea of what, it's the same thing. When you lust after an individual, you have an idea of who they are in your head based off of what you see from them. But you don't know the person that well. You know what I mean? It's the same energy where you're just kind of chasing a goal, but you're not necessarily aware of all the they're saying not all that glitters is gold, but that's true. But it's also, you don't have the full awareness of what that might cost. You might have to make a deal with the devil. You know what I mean? The next 2 cards that we have out is the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords from the Wheel of the Year. These 2 cards both are confirmation that, you are, and it's actually interesting because we had the 10 of Swords and the 10 of Wands earlier, and now we have the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. So you are going to be having a new beginning in the mind space after you kind of get in line with a grounded reality about the desires and the goals that you are chasing here. But at the same time, with the Ace of Pentacles, it's kind of saying that it is going to take some new beginnings. You might have to get a new job. You might have to find they're saying a new outlet. So you might even have to find a new outlet for energy right now. But I'm also really getting with the Ace of Pentacles that it's about finding a new physical outlet, maybe even, joining a gym or something like that. Something that you can really, refresh your mind with the Ace of Swords here being a representation of you refreshing your mind. The Lovers did come out for clarification for this, and I do think that some of this is related to that loving energy of the Lovers. You need to actually find a relationship if you're not already in one, so that you can have that happy family, nuclear family situation that you might be desiring, Leo. But at the same time, this also just might mean that you need to make better choices so that you can have the new beginnings that would help you get to the manifestations you want, if that's not where you're going, towards this happy family situation, this happy home situation, right? And that's all I had for that card. The last card that we got from the Energy Oracle was the Sun. The Sun actually does have a lot of energies around it. I think it's kind of the energy of renewal of the mind space, interestingly enough, but at the same time, not forgetting all the lessons you learned along the way. I also think that there's a lot of learning about resources and what's really going to benefit you at this time, and doing a lot of work with your own creativity, your own creative energy. If you are an artist, I do suggest spending some time outside. I saw that a couple times when I was analyzing the energies around the Sun card, but I also think that there are going to be some renewals happening in this time, and the reason why I'm saying the renewal energy specifically is because the Sun, and my guides are even showing me this as I'm saying it, the Sun kind of the new day begins, and the Sun is a representation of that in this reading, where it's basically like, a lot of things might be ending especially when you heal yourself towards the beginning of July, but at the same time there are going to be new beginnings after that ending, and that's what's really being clarified for you here with the Sun card. The two cards that I pulled out for the Wheel of the Year Tarot that started off the reading for the Sun card specifically was the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Swords. I do think that people are going to be communicating with you very bluntly about their emotions and thoughts about what it is you have going on, especially when you start new beginnings, when you start the new job, when you start the new gym membership, when you start the new relationship and things like that. I think ultimately that there are going to be people who are very happy for you, and there are going to be people who are not as happy, who are going to just be speaking their mind to you. And honestly, my guides are even saying, does it really matter what they think? I think also this is the energy of you needing to actually tell people that, basically, those who matter don't mind, those who mind don't matter. What is it? That's not even true. Those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. That's what it is. And that's true. Like, whatever it is that you have going on is ultimately not going to be a bother to the people who are actually supposed to be with you on this part of your journey. And I think you need to remember that, especially towards the end of July. But moving forward in the tarot, we have the Magician coming out from the Wheel of the Year, and I asked for clarification on it just to see what was actually being created for you. And we have the Tower. The Tower, this is double confirmation for the Tower because it's the second time it came out. So I think that there are going to be strong endings happening for you here. I also think that you're kind of manifesting certain things to happen for you, possibly even wanting to bring in karma to certain individuals around you at this time. And I don't know if that's necessarily supported, but I do see that happening for you. And I do see it kind of working out somewhat in your favor. You are feeling very powerful when you start to see, you start to say to yourself, I don't really like this happening for this person, and I really wish it didn't happen. And then suddenly you see a change, whether it's outside of yourself or within your own life. Although there is a very illusionary energy around you still, especially around this magical energy of the Magician, where you are manifesting certain illusions in your life. We have the Seven of Cups here, and we also have the Ace of Cups to explain the Seven of Cups. That ultimately leads up to 8 cups. I think that you're going to be a little bit dissuaded by illusionary energy, but at the same time it's also going to be something that can become very toxic if you take too much of it in. And you really need to understand the balance between having the spiritual outlook on the things that you manifest, having the spiritual outlook on the magic that you do in whatever way that applies to you, and then also having a grounded reality in that, where you understand that I do X and Y because I want to get to Z, but at the same time, I'm also in the reality of A, B, and C still. So, like, if you are, so if you worked at McDonald's, you know, you are not and you are trying to manifest a job away from McDonald's, you know, it's that energy where you're like, I want to get out of McDonald's, and you're praying about that, and you're looking for a job, but at the same time, you still have to go to work at McDonald's until you find something else to do, or you could quit, but it's still like, you still have to face they're saying, face the facts, face the reality that you exist in, even if you're trying to get yourself out of certain situations at this time, Leo. The Ace of Cups does kind of say that you are going to be in a very peaceful energy, but once again, because it's with the Seven of Cups, I think that this is going to be an illusion of peace at a new emotional beginning. So you might be very emotionally attached to certain outcomes or certain situations that you're in because of your connection to the illusionary energy of the options that you've created for yourself. But ultimately, that might be a little toxic if you get too attached to it. The next two cards that we have the Two of Pentacles, and it was further explained by the Eight of Pentacles. Now, the 2 plus the 8 does equal the 10, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more when we move forward in the reading, because I have a couple cards left after this. But with the Two of Pentacles here to explain the Sun energy, I think ultimately there are going to be a lot of decisions that you're going to have to make at this time in regards to your finances and also in regards to your materials. And a lot of this is going to have to be about what's going to be fruitful for the longevity for the future. You're going to have to really connect with yourself and say, I'm on this path right now. I want to go somewhere else. I want to have $1,000 in my bank account, but I still have to make choices for the day to day to get to that point where I have that much money. And you have to be able to see the goal and then actually work towards it in the monetary sense, especially. So you're going to have to make some good choices when it comes to how much money you spend, where you spend your money, and things like that. Because I don't think that this is going to be a very good time for you to be making a lot of major financial decisions while you also have all these other changes happening in your life, in your spirituality, and in your relationships, especially if you're also trying to switch jobs. Because that was an energy that's come through in all, almost all, at least two of these big energy oracle card spreads. The next thing that I have are the next two cards, and these are the last two cards for the reading. We have the Ten of Pentacles and the Lovers from the Wheel of the Year Tarot. Now, this is double confirmation for the Lovers, so I think that a lot of choices are going to be highlighted for you, and ultimately you are trying to move towards a very stable life, possibly with someone else. You might even be searching or seeking out stable relationships at this time, and that is ultimately supported since these two cards did come out together. But you also need to focus on your material wealth. There's an aspect of that needing to be in focus before you can actually manifest this loving relationship that you may or may not already be in. Now, some of you might even be getting married in this energy, but at the same time, you also need to stay grounded in the reality that marriage is not just about the relationship. It's about the money. It's about the life. It's about the married life that you're in. So keep that in mind as well, Leo. Because you might want to share in the abundance with this person, or you might be focused on the love, but a marriage is about both. So I'm going to put one more energy oracle to give you some advice for the month of July. All of this has been advice, but you know what I mean. We have the Thinking Man, which is a 46 reducing down to a 10. 10 being about the beginning of new cycles after the ending of others. The Thinking Man, I think you're going to be learning a lot. I think you're going on a spiritual journey right now, Leo. And I think that you're also learning a lot about yourself and also looking for guidance outside of yourself to develop the mind a little bit stronger as you go through the month of July. And moving out of the month of July, I think that you're going to be building towards some lofty goals. I think that you're even going to be looking towards trying to present yourself as somebody who's a little bit more cerebral than you might have been in the past. And I think that the divine is going to be supporting this as long as you also remain conscious of where you're going moving forward. So that's all I have for you for the month of July. I think this reading was pretty good. I see a lot of good things happening for you, especially in the workplace, and especially on the spiritual journey. You're going to be doing a lot of healing. So just remember to also heal yourself. Utilize those crystals, utilize that incense, utilize the knowledge that you have about healing, and also make sure that you're doing it for yourself as well, Leo. But besides that, I don't have anything else, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for sticking around towards the end of the reading. Leave a star emoji in the comments if you got to this part of the reading. I'd really appreciate seeing that. Let me know how it resonated for you in the comments as well. Like the video for the free reading, and also subscribe to the channel for more like this. Thank you so much, Leo. Goodbye.